Hello, hello. It's Blue coming to you live from the Leaning Tower of Pisa to celebrate the winner of the very first online BGA World Championship qualifier for the Altered TCG, Giacomo. Apparently, I had been saying his name wrong the entire cast, so I figured I'd try to be right this time around for the Italian player. This Basira and Kaizomon fan, who is part of the team and Italian community known as Spaghetti, took the Bravo Zero to an undefeated record in the 10 rounds of Swiss, and later boosted past the rest of the competition to win the largest event in both Altered and BGA history. Come join us for this WCQ edition of Top Cut Talk directly after they had just won to talk about why they chose Basira, the reason they only use two uniques, and even the specifics on their deck list. Now, go ahead and hit that subscribe, like, and notification bell if you are just as big a fan of the muscle mommy known as Basira as I am. And let's go straight to the winning moment of the game and then the interview.
Oh no. And the frozen delivery into frozen delivery for the second time that I have witnessed. We have your new world champion Giacomo on the Basira win. We're just gonna call everyone world champion the day that they get it, because why not? They deserve their time in the world, son.
Yeah,
So
everyone gets their flowers, right? I want to thank everyone
yep.
who's joined us thus far. Looks like he did just join, so we're going to transition over to the screen with our champion for the
Hi guys,
EU BGA online qualifier. Congratulations! How does it feel?
thank you. Well, I feel exhausted right now, but also very excited. It's been two very nice days. So I had a lot of fun for sure, and I had a lot of support of my friends. So really enjoyed this tournament.
Definitely. So, got a few questions for you. We'll probably get some more as we go on here, but can you tell us what kind of preparation you did going into this event? And were you always planning on using Basira as your hero, or were there other options?
Actually, I did this. I made this deck for Basira over time, so testing her expansion, since Basira is one of my favorite heroes. And I've played some tournament, which you also commented, I think, which it was the Altered Team League with Italian teams, and I had the chance to play Basira, and also the other heroes that I play a lot are Sigismar, Kojo, mainly, let's say. And so the point is that I really love Basira, but it was unplayable a few weeks ago, in my opinion. And then suddenly things changed, and Afanas got nerfed, and that opened the door to fantastic, meta. There are a lot of possibilities right now, as you saw in the tournament today. Really, a lot of heroes made the top, and all the matches were just playable. So that was the chance for me to play my favorite hero, and I thought it could be very strong, and it worked.
Yeah, and most importantly, as far as the variety of heroes, is that Afanis wasn't in there, right? No Ysmir at
Yes.
all at top cut overall. Cole, did you have a question?
Yeah, so there's been a narrative following you throughout the tournament. You've kind of
Mm.
become the people's champion. What made you decide to only run two uniques in the top cut? What's the explanation there? I do have a corgi unique as well. If you need, we can
Yeah,
discuss
no,
if
it's
you want to purchase that.
I know. The story is a bit stupid because I started the tournament with my three uniques, and I can assure you they are good uniques that I spent my time looking for. And then I forgot to remove one of them from the market. So the day that I made the top 32. That unique was selling in the market. It was sitting there. It had been sitting there for months. Nobody ever wanted to buy it. And then the list went public, and either someone thought, Basira made the top, this unique is great, or maybe someone wanted to sabotage me to have an easier life, possible matches. I don't know. So yesterday night I was trying to play a game to test against my team friends. I wanted to test against the Sierra that I was going to meet in the tournament, and the deck didn't appear. So I was shocked. I was like, "Well, what's going on?" And the unique had disappeared. So that was tragic. I had a really bad night. I was a bit depressed, and fortunately, Simon and the people that organized the tournament let me play in it with two uniques and one common card that was similar to the unique instead of it. So I just played with one more common. Let's say.
Yeah, I'm glad you were able to still compete, and we figured out a way that a lot of people agree was a very good judge call. And then, of course, it didn't just knock you out, and it created it literally like people in the chat like it's a story now. So
Yeah.
I'm glad no longer have to be sad about it. You won with two uniques, and I think
Yes.
you specifically confirmed something I said earlier. You didn't say I spent a lot of money on these uniques. You said I spent a lot of time putting these together. And that's exactly what I've been trying to reiterate to players is it's not always about how much money competitive
Yeah.
players are throwing at the unique. It's the time spent finding the ones that work for your deck.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely.
think that's very true. And also, in the French qualifier, where the three Anansi uniques won the game, and then suddenly they spiked in the market. So Alter has a small amount of people playing in the end, and they are all influenced by this tournament. So you can always trust your gameplay and say, well, if that works for me and it's only I don't know 100 instead of 300, it's probably going to work for you. The price is totally subjective, and maybe my experience today, maybe I was a bit lucky, maybe I played well, but maybe it showed that also uniques are not determining 100% who wins because I actually had two, so better than that.
Yeah, definitely. I think it shows that a lot for a lot of people. And you could say that you're a little bit lucky for it for sure if you want to. But I mean, you still had to play some really good players throughout this in best of threes. These weren't just best of ones that you got a one off and you were able to take the game. So definitely some consistency still there for it. One of the questions I do have in relation to consistency in your deck list that you talked about, what went into the decision to go with no permanents for your Basira deck? Typically, we see at least Keylon cylinders or Haven Bravo Bastions, but you prioritized rares like physical training or Ozma instead. Can you give us a little bit more insight on that?
Yes. The main reason is that my favorite landmark would be Haven, and probably Haven in combo with Mess is the best. But it's not as strong as it is in Kojo because you don't get the free token with Buddha. In this case, since I am running two hunger in my deck, I didn't really want to resupply. Basically, I'm playing hunger. I'm playing the rabbit. I'm playing probably other things that I don't want to resupply. For example, they play dancer as well. Um, so I don't want to resupply, so I discard that option. And then there is the Kellon cylinder. The Kellon cylinder for me is playable. It's fine. I just don't like it because usually you want to have permanence at the beginning of the game in order for them to get value. But if you do that, if you play them early, you are wasting a card, because when you play a card, it goes to reserve, and when you play a landmark, it doesn't. So you are losing resources using a rare slot, and at the end of all this, there are also the gremlins, which are very strong in the meta, and they just destroy your card like that for free. So my idea was to play without permanents. I tested both options. I also had a list without hunger and more aggressive with Haven, but I knew that today I was going to find a lot of different heroes, and when they set up, I really need to have that card. Hunger really won me at least like 20-25% of the games, I think. As you saw also in the final, both games I won with Hunger. So Traced doesn't have removal, you know. Gurang, Sierra, they set up. So Hunger is really great in a lot of matchups.
Cool.
So one of the last questions I will have is, I thought going into the matchup against Trace, you had a leg up just with how your deck was built. Some people in chat were thinking that you specifically might have built to come out against Trace. Was that in mind, or was it overall just I want to make a good overall Basira list?
I think there was not too much focus on Traced, but as I said, the fact that I didn't put permanents was because of that. So that's already a start. And then I run triple Aklut. You don't see triple Aklut a lot. For me, it's the reason I play Basir. I mean, it's a card that feels like a unique sometimes, because as you know, in Izmir they play Berazenkas that tap 2. And with Basira, you can do that with a rare card, and I think it's so strong. Especially into Traced and Sigismar, Kojo, and Basira, which are all decks that I thought I was going to meet a lot today. So the answers to Traced were the absence of permanents and yeah.
Makes sense.
But in general, my deck is a bit greedy, I think, because you play the physical training, you play big blade dancers. So, as I said, if there was Afanas around, I'd be like 0-10 yesterday, you know. But with Traced, Traced plays for the combo, he plays to get the engine going, but they don't have answers to this greedy gameplay, you know? So that's why it worked. And Sigismar, I only actually met one, and it was a good match. Actually, it was a match with my friend. So we had a friend match, but yeah, I came out on top because it started great on the match. But I think overall with Sigismar, I could suffer a bit, probably.
Got it. And you talked about a little bit there in your response as far as what you're preparing for different heroes and everything, but did you still think you could win after this whole sold unique scandal? And what were you worried about the most going into the top cut other than just running 2 uniques?
I thought, you know, I lost the unique that I needed the least, because I have 2 uniques that draw, and that the one I lost was like an extra win condition. If you have many cards in hand at the end of the game, you play it, and basically you make a double expedition if the opponent doesn't have removal, because it spam boosts around. And so I knew that the unique was not essential, but also I knew that statistically speaking, it would make a difference over a lot of games. So yesterday night, I was very sad about it, and I felt a bit like I couldn't do it. But today, also, again, here there was the help of my team. So Spaghetti, thank you so much. They made me believe that I could do it, and that unique was not essential because I went at 0 and everything. So I was hyped, and yes, I was even more hyped at one point, because I thought maybe I can win a tournament like this with 2 uniques, and you know, that would be pretty nice. So yeah, at the end it was not that bad.
Yeah, definitely. You had a few close games though for sure, right? Making it through
Mhm.
there, getting to some game threes throughout the entire setup. Very
Yeah.
interesting to watch overall, but you were still able to make it out. Quick question before we get to your shout outs though, last one that I have. How much did you actually use the Haven bouncer that you had to swap in?
Good question. I think did I think once.
Once?
Yes,
Okay.
once.
It worked once then at least.
So if it were a mana orb, maybe I wouldn't have won. I don't know. But I feel that it was not that bad of a choice. So I hope that people don't feel like I broke too many rules. I mean, at the end I played with 3 units. But yeah, I did play the bouncer once.
Okay, yeah, that works. Cole, unless you have any other questions, we just want to say congrats on taking the championship for this very first EU BGA online qualifier, taking it home for Italia a little bit, right? For the community over there. Do you have any shout outs before we wrap things up here on the interview?
Yeah, just my team Spaghetti. As I said, I feel like I need to thank them, and then the whole Telegram, Discord community, and you guys. It was a pleasure to play these 2 days of a tournament, and so I found that people were
Yep.
really nice overall,
The
except for someone that bought my spy, but that's going to remain
yeah.
unknown. So
If we ever see that spy again,
yes,
people
it's
will
it's
know.
the most famous unique now.
Uh, just as a little note, I think it is very hilarious that the Italian players named their biggest community the spaghetti. Because if people don't know the Italian community or Altered as much, when I'm like, oh yeah, the Italian players, the spaghetti players, it seems very sus, but that is what
Ah,
you guys
yes.
named yourself. So
Spaghetti.
I appreciate making us look awkward when we have to explain that to people.
Thanks.
But
Thanks for
yeah,
appreciating.
that'll wrap things up. If you don't have anything else, we'll then close things out and switch back to the other screen. Want to say congrats one more time and enjoy your evening at this point, and have a good trip over to France.
Yeah, and thank you guys for having me. Have a good
Definitely.
night.
Have a good one.
Yep. Thanks for playing. Have a good night.
Ciao.
Thank you all once again for joining. The link to the full VOD will be in the description on the A.W.O.L channel, so be sure to check that out. And I'll see you in play on the next day.